fall out of bed and catch a fading star. Fancy I woke up before my alarm, rub my mind through my eyes, it's the best I can do before it's automatic habit of returning to you. Though I smile when it happens, almost as if it was magic, it means there's a God somewhere and he's laughing. And I shuffle my slipperless toes to the kitchen, still low to the ground, but high on living. And I know it's gonna be a good day. Hello, you beautiful thing. Waking up, I stretch my body and acknowledge the mix. Must be something I did yesterday. Pour a cup of liquid gold because my engine's still cold. But in a minute everything's gonna change, 'cause I know it's gonna be a good day. Hello, you beautiful thing. Hello, you beautiful thing. This is what I've been waiting for.
So let's jump into things. Kenny Jo, I know you've got some time constraints, so I wanted to ask you a couple of questions. You're involved directly in real estate. How long have you been doing that?
30 years.
30 years, so you're a new timer?
Yeah.
Okay.
I had blonde hair when I started.
So you're in the shores, you're still in the shores, you went through the process. How much do you think undergrounding the utilities has added in value to each parcel on a percentage basis?
I can't give you an exact percentage, but I can tell you it's definitely a positive in many, many ways. I can't say that your property value will go up 30% or whatever with.
I like that 30% number though. If you didn't hear that, that was 30%, everybody.
That is about, because there's too many variables.
Right.
You know, maybe somebody will stop buying in the Heights because you have too much grass to water. I don't know.
Sure.
So there's a lot of things that, but it's definitely improvement. One of the things I'd like to point out to you is that you are competing with new homes and new products, and all of those new things will be underground. There won't be any wires for them to use.
Can you stand up and...
You want to stand up,
Yeah.
Kenny Jo, so everyone can hear?
Okay.
So what Kenny Jo said is that we're competing with new product, new developments, and if you're not aware, essentially since 1973, all new developments in Orange County have been underground. So Kenny Jo just said that we are competing with new product, and having above ground utilities will be factored in on appraisal and offers and things like that.
So if you're not moving forward, you're moving back. That's basically, I don't think there's anybody here that hasn't done a new kitchen, bathroom, roof, something to upgrade your property. And this is a very basic upgrade that you should do. It will show up in your sales, if in fact you sell. If you don't sell and your kids are saying, don't you dare sell our beach house, they're gonna love it too. So it is definitely a plus.
To undergrounding is cost. Can you give us an idea of cost and maybe some financing options, since you're the expert?
I certainly can. Before I go there, I actually want to thank each and every one of you for being here tonight. I know this has been a tough issue for you. I have personally gotten well over 100 emails and phone calls from this community. This is by far, since 2008, the most active community that I've ever seen. 2008, the failure of Babel Island, we had quite a firestorm. Pardon the pun with the fire department here. But that was a very contentious vote down there. But it was at the vote that it became contentious. I have never, in my I'm going on my 24th year here at the city, I've never seen such an active group of people. My hat's off to everybody. The dialogue is important to this city. We are neutral in the middle of this. It's important that you folks talk about this and that you gather your information and you find out the information for yourself on what's best for you as a family. It is a very personal decision, and we understand that at the city. People have hardships. We're talking about cost. The question is about...
Yeah, give us an idea of costs and potential financing options that you know about or that you've seen, maybe, or we can ask some of the others who have experience with that.
I'll give you, I've been working for the city for 23, almost 24 years. I didn't start as the assistant, I'm actually the assistant city engineer now. I started as the utilities deputy director, and I did water and sewer for most of my first 10 years here. I drifted into public works and into this arena because I actually liked working, doing things more for the community. Watching this happen for the last 10 or 15 years, I've seen the cost go up and up and up for this. I'll give you an example. Balboa Island, Little Balboa Island, undergrounded back in 15 years ago for about $10,000. In the shores, I have a home in the shores, and when Lola, my daughter here, was about 2.5, we did the undergrounding there, and it was about $12,000 for me to write a check to the city. I discounted it, paid the discount up front. I paid about $10,000 when I got my discount. The cost now is running about $17,000 or $18,000 on the districts that have just recently been completed. And when I say recently been completed, I'm talking about on the peninsula from the pier down to all the way to Balboa Pier. Pier to pier has been just about done, and those range from $16,000, $17,000, $18,000, $22,000 has been the range of costs that have been going on for those properties. So when we looked at this district and we set the cost estimate at $20,000, understanding the city's coming in with the concrete alley project on top of this or afterwards, $20,000 is about the number we think it's going to come in at. We've not done the hard estimates, we've not done the design. That's just what we think it's going to come in at. And are there financing options? Well, there's the automatic financing option. If you do not know that you want to pay this up front, you can't figure out ways to sell stocks or gather the funds to do this. By the way, it's 3 or 4 years before you'll have to do anything. And that's going to take us that long to get it designed and get it in construction. We actually have to write a check to do anything. When it does come time to write that check, you'll be given a decision to make. Do I want to pay for it up front and save about 15 to 20%? Like I said, I had a $12,000 bill to look at. I had a toddler and a mom that was pregnant with a newborn coming. I said, you know what do I want to do? I decided to take the discount because that $1,500, $2,000 off the top, I went and sold stock and I figured out a way to pay for it, and it went under $10,000 for me. If I couldn't have done that, and it was a tough decision, it could have just gone right on my tax bill. It's an automatic financing thing. It's about 3 or 4% interest, and it goes on for 15 or 20 years on your tax bill, and it comes automatically when you pay your county taxes. So there's that automatic financing option that the city provides with the bonding on this project. All right, the alley project that's out there, if I started the design today, the soonest I would get out there actually doing construction in the Heights would probably be 18 months, maybe 20 months from now. It takes that long for us to design. It wouldn't be until the summer of next year, 2016, before we get there if we did anything. Knowing that some of those alleys are in bad shape and people don't want to wait, we've already set aside the money. We've already committed to doing what they call a slurry seal and patching, and we're talking about doing it for the whole Heights, no matter what we're used to. The question is, will it be 6 or 7 years? I don't think so. Edison's motivated to get this designed. We're motivated to get this done for you. I think we'll be breaking ground on an undergrounding somewhere within 4 years. I mean, you guys are voted, we're breaking ground, and so it'll be a couple years later than we would be there anyway with the alley project that we have planned. The good news is the city has put aside already $2 million to your neighborhood. If you add up the math and all the neighbors that are out there, that's a lot of money per home. So the money that gets wrapped into this undergrounding, you just think that's part of this project.
The question on the table is, and then we're going to hold questions to the end, like I mentioned at the very beginning, the question on the table is, what is the planned upgrade from Southern California Edison, moving from the 4 kV poles and transformers to the 12 kV poles and transformers.
And Edison has a substation over off Old Newport somewhere. I don't know exactly where. My understanding is it's going to be decommissioned. It's a 4 kV substation that serves your whole community as it goes up towards the airport. I mean, I'm talking about a big area here. They have a plan to convert all of that area from the 4 kV that it is today to 12 kV, and because of the firestorm that happened a few years ago, they are required now by the PUC to upgrade these poles, make them bigger, stronger. And I saw one of these guys yesterday. I actually stood next to it and looked at it. I went, wow, that is an impressive pole. I swear, the poles that were behind my house are about yay big. They're like 1.5 times. That's bigger than that. I'm telling you, it was bigger. And I'll give the address to Aaron and anybody that's here. I'll send you right down to Carnation and First Street to where this thing is. They just put it in. They literally, the asphalt around the pole is still there. I was shocked at how big the thing is. I mean, I don't want to.
So let
me have this. Edison is happy to do that for your community. They may do that anyway for your community to convert the system from 4 kV to 12 kV in the interim, just to strengthen the system, to make sure that we don't have any fire issues, we don't have any line problems. They may come in and do that just for the heck of it. It sounds silly, but they're ordered by the PUC to upgrade any poles that are deficient, safety issues related to poles, wires that are a problem. They are mandated to go fix it as soon as they find out those issues, and they're planning to come in the next couple years. I can't tell you exactly when.
So, if I was gonna paraphrase that, I would say that upfront costs, if you're gonna pay upfront, maybe 16,000, 17,000. Is that essentially what you said?
The petition that you folks are signing is $20,000.
20,000 upfront or financed?
Either way.
That's all in.
Okay.
If you decided to pay it up front without the financing costs, you can discount somewhere between 10-15%. So it would come off the 20 and be a little bit lower.
So if you pay up front, potentially 18. If you finance it, somewhere in the $20,000 range. So some of the costs that many of us have probably heard may not necessarily be absolutely accurate. So the second question, there is financing available. We talked about connection costs. So the financing is an assessment. That's typically a 15, 20-year bond, and it's just part of your property tax bill. And it stays with the property. If you sell your property, the new property owner picks up that assessment. So it sounds like we're probably 2 to 3 years out, or 18 months to 2 years out with no undergrounding, and we're 3 to 4 years out on the alleys with undergrounding. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but so we're not delaying the alley project 7 to 8 years. The alley project, hopefully, with undergrounding, everything can get done within the next 4 years. And in the meantime, we're going to patch the alleys and repair anything that needs to get repaired immediately with the alleys. And then the last piece is, we've got $2 million set aside for our neighborhood that's going to be credited by the city to the cost of undergrounding. Is that accurate? So it's never going to be more expensive, more inexpensive, or less than it is right now. And I guarantee you at some point it's going to get done, and it'll be much more money than it is today. So I would encourage all of you that if you haven't signed a card, think about signing a card, petition card before you leave tonight. The last piece is, if you weren't aware, there's a 50-year upgrade planned by Southern California Edison. That 50-year upgrade is going to bring in poles that are twice as big and 5 feet higher than the current poles in our neighborhood. So I really think that those are key points that you want to consider. I know there's been a lot of discussion out in the neighborhood about cost to connect, or what if I have an older system, or an older house with an older electrical system, is it going to cost me $20,000 to connect my house? So I wanted to ask Jean-Pierre, on average, what do you see costs connection costs are, and if you ever really run into someone that was unable to connect or unable to afford it. Speak up.
My average, we've done just under 1,200, not over 1,200. Sorry, to be honest.
Just under 1,200.
Here are my permits. I've pulled all the records for it just to show you. But the average price from our past is anywhere between $2,500 to $3,500. And what I do is, we don't take credit cards, but I'll just have people pay me over a 6-month or even a 12-month period. And we just shake hands on it. We have a small little contract, and people pay me whatever, $200 a month for the time we agree on.
Let me emphasize, for those folks that are already underground, you've got a brand new home and you've done a significant remodel, and you've got, as you know, you've already underground your house through a recent remodel. And Steve Michael can tell you this. You've got a pole that's down the street and you've had to dig down the street and you've done a connection and you've got all new power, cable, phone lines going to your house that are coming through conduits, and it costs you $10,000 to do it way back when. The question comes up all the time is, I've already paid for my undergrounding, why am I going to have to pay again? It costs me thousands of dollars to do that. And our standard response from the city is, what you paid for is the requirement that if you're doing a remodel after year whatever, and you're doing so much, you have to underground. You are forced to put your utilities underground. You have no choice. It's a requirement of the municipal code. But the only thing that you get off of doing is you don't have to hire John. If you're already hooked up to what we go by with the project, or Edison does, and we will hook you up at zero charge. You'll never see John Pierre. It'll be done for free. All you'll pay is that assessment, and then again, folks ask, well, I already paid that thousands and thousands of dollars. The assessment is to get rid of the wires, get rid of the poles. The aesthetic benefit is the number one thing. That's what you're paying for. The 20C process is really made for more developers. Like if they're in an area over here and they want to get rid of the poles, they just say, Edison, how much? I want to move the poles. I want to do something with these poles. Just tell me how much. They give you an invoice and it's $100,000 and you get to underground these poles. In your community, that really doesn't make sense, because if a few of you wanted to underground, well, that's great, but there's a few of you in that alley that probably don't want to underground, and they're still going to be above ground. How do you underground just some of you? It's either all or nothing. The only way it could work, I guess, is if in a particular alley, and there's a few people that are well off and they want to underground the whole alley, they would pick up the tab for everybody. Instead of paying $20,000, maybe 4 or 5 of them are paying $100,000 a piece to underground one block.
They did that on the peninsula a couple places, right?
Maybe. They could do that, and it's a 20C process. It's not very practical, and it's also more expensive, and you don't get the credit from Edison for the equivalent overhead that the 20B process gives you. In that $20,000 number, we're assuming a significant credit back from Edison for the overhead system. They give you a credit for if they had to replace the whole system above ground, they credit you back that value. Remember, Edison wants to stay above ground, but they give you that credit. They're required by the PDC to give you that credit in a 20B process. In a 20C process, there is no credit from Edison.
Just to clarify that a little bit, and if you go to our website, improvetheheights.com, or improvenewportheights.com, that'll be posted in the next day or so. Essentially, Southern California Edison, which we've gotten writing from Edison, will credit 40% of the overhead cost to the undergrounding project. So we do get a big credit from Southern California Edison, which has been factored into the city's estimate. In 20C, we won't receive that credit. Or under 20C, we don't receive that credit.
So when people ask why isn't SCE paying for any of it, they actually are. They're paying for the overhead equivalent, correct?
They're paying for the cost of the overhead equivalent,
yes.
Essentially. I want to talk a little bit about transformers. There's still information out there that the city or Southern California Edison is actually going to put transformers in the 5-foot city setback or on people's property via easement. Is that accurate, or is there Any rules around that? Ordinances?
Actually, our municipal code is crystal clear. When you're doing an underground project, it's an underground project. In everything related to the overhead facilities, the transformer, the wires, the capacitors, everything that's up there is required by the city's municipal code to go below ground.
Do today.
Position card obligates you to nothing, really. What's required by the council is we need to get 60% of the community to say we want to actually go to the next step. Next step in the normal process would be for Edison to design the system. Probably cost not you, the city. I'm going to throw a number out, $400,000 to design the system. The city fronts that money, the design starts, takes a year and a half or so to figure it out. And then we come back and say, okay, now with this design it's going to cost $21,000 or $19,000 or $18,000. It depends on how the design turns out. We then come back to you with an official ballot. I had to sign one of these myself when I did Newport Shores. It's a real official looking ballot thing. You got to sign it and then mail it back to the city clerk. And then at a council meeting, some 3-4 years from now, they'll get all your ballots, you can mail them in, and you bring them right down to the council meeting, and they'll count them up that night. And if it's got 50% of the people that turn the ballot in, plus one, the council can make a decision to move forward.
So, signing a petition card doesn't obligate you to anything. It just takes us to the next process where the entire community will get an opportunity to vote on it. Those that didn't sign a petition, those that signed a petition against, and those that signed a petition for. That's the only thing it's obligating you to, is you might have to vote at some point in the future.
I just wanted on video that we're not the only district, the Heights, that there is 9 total districts in Newport Beach doing this exact same thing.
That is correct. There's 9 20B projects going forward right now.
Yes.
I also have a 28 project that ties to one of them on the peninsula, and I also have another 28 projects up in the Heights. So I've got right now 11 active projects, and it's not been this busy since before the recession, and even before the recession, we never had 11 going all at the same time. The phone's ringing, council members, city manager, our staff. It's amazing how much activity there is right now, which is a good thing. There's a good conversation out there. I'm looking forward to this conversation here ending in about 4 weeks. Making a decision here, folks, in one way or the other, so we can actually get on to the others. One way or the other.
I encourage everyone to go to the city website. If you go to the city website and you dig a little bit, you can find that there have been over 60 projects undergrounded in Newport Beach. So they had a presentation, it was January, I can't remember the exact date, to City Council. To date, at that point, 2015, over 60 projects had gone underground in Newport Beach. So feel free to hit the city website.
You're 118, we started with number 1. Back when the undergrounding project started, in the 70s. So I do want to say, if I leave and you can't catch me tonight, please, my email, my phone, I'm here for you. I may not get back to you in a day or so because a lot of calls are coming. But if you have questions, if you're feeling comfortable about something or uncomfortable asking the question here today, my office, there's a lot of staff that are involved in this at City Hall. We are there for you to answer questions so you can make an informed decision. This is your decision, and it's a tough one.
I take it from the city. Get your information from the city. Don't get it from me. Don't get it from anybody else. Get it from the city. Question
from Mike. One of the primary positions of the opposition was that the city should remain neutral. Can I assume that's a myth, that in reality the city, understanding how good this is for the community, is in full support of this?
So the question is, to Mike, the opposition is stating that the city should remain neutral, and David wants to know whether that is a myth or not.
But as an official city position, I shouldn't say we don't care. It's your decision. It can stay overhead. We just need to find out if you want it or not, and we'll happily get it done. And from my office, I'll get it done as quick as possible. Because I like getting it done fast and getting it done right for the community. But we have to be neutral. There are people that are for this and people that are against this. You all vote for the city council. We have to stay neutral. I'm sorry. We can't take an official position.
catch a fading star. Fancy I woke up before my alarm. Rub my mind through my eyes, it's the best I can do before it's automatic habit of returning to you. Though I smile when it happens, almost as if it was magic. It means there's a God somewhere and he's laughing. And I shuffle my slipperless toes to the kitchen, still low to the ground, but high on living. And I know it's gonna be a good day. Hello, you beautiful thing. Waking up, I stretch my body and acknowledge the mix. Must be something I did yesterday. Pour a cup of liquid gold because my engine's still cold. But in a minute everything's gonna change, 'cause I know it's gonna be a good day. Hello, you beautiful thing. Hello, you beautiful thing. This is what I've been waiting for.
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 Looking out from a cul-de-sac, watching the bend of the earth take the black of the night from the dirt. I can see from the depths of my readjusting eyes a reflection of yeses in that ever-changing sky. But why do bad dreams linger long after I awake? I don't need no scenes of violence or pain replayed. And I feel quite foolish sometimes when I pray, but my thoughts are all I got, so I try to make them brave. And I know it's gonna be a good day. Hello, you beautiful thing. Hello, you beautiful thing. Oh, this is what I've been waiting for.
This is what I've been waiting for.
Oh, this is what I've been waiting for.
This is what I've been waiting for.
Oh, this is what I've been waiting for.
This is what I've been waiting for.
This is what I've been waiting for.
Hello.
And I know it's gonna be a good day. Hello, you beautiful